All right. So the different things that we're gonna, oh, just to let you guys know that this is my very first webinar, so by myself. So if I seem a little nervous, that's because I am. And just like all of you guys, we just love being in front of the camera. So I braved the video for you guys so I could teach you all about file organization uploading. But Wes and Lisa are also going to be here. They're going to be in the support or in the chat over to the side. So if you have any questions or anything like that that I may not get to during the presentation, they're always there to help guide you and answer any questions. And then also towards the end of the webinar, I'm going to kind of open it up. So anyone that has any specific questions about anything, you can go ahead and feel free to ask, and I will be there to help. So, yeah. So let's see. It says we have about 14 people in here. So where is everyone from? Right now, I'm in Winter Park. That's where we're located. But I'd be interested to see where everybody else is from because it's not snowing here, and I want to know who is in the snow. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Well, while you guys kind of funnel in, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and queue up my slides. Ta-da! Mac preview for the win. All right. So this is a webinar all about file organization and uploading. Thanks for being patient with technical difficulties. We all have them. All right. So I'm going to go over really quick some of the things that we're going to cover, the topics. The first topic that we're going to cover is something that's pretty essential. If you guys are using for your workflow Lightroom and Photoshop or a combination of the two, this is going to go pretty heavily into Lightroom organization because Lightroom is really created quite specifically to really help out volume photographers. It does a lot of things. It's a very powerful program, but it's very nice for people that do a lot of images or a lot of the same images, such as volume work, and it just kind of streamlines your whole workflow. So we're going to go over a way to make that most efficient with Lightroom. I'm going to talk about culling your images, keywords, which is really cool. It's a feature that we have to make things easier if you're already using keywords in your file organization. This is going to be a way that will help you significantly not only keep them sorted in your Lightroom and on your computer, but also creating tags because we now use your keywords in Lightroom and use them as tags in your galleries with PhotoDay. I'm going to do a quick little edit so you can kind of see a little bit of a workflow with that, get familiar with PhotoDay, or not with PhotoDay, with Lightroom and editing processes. So when you upload them to PhotoDay, they all at least look consistent. I'm going to show you how to export the right way. A number of people, when I first started here at PhotoDay, had a lot of issues with basically when you're uploading an image, all of our cameras now seems to be like 30, 40, 50 megapixels. We're shooting raw, these are big files, and then we go to upload them to the gallery, and it's like, oh, we're limited to 15 meg. And it's like, no! So I'm going to show you how to export them while being able to retain the quality and the sharpness of the image, but also getting it down to a file size that's manageable for your customers, for PhotoDay, and for you. You don't need to take a raw image that's like 30 meg and then export it out as the size of, like, let's say, anything over 15 or 16 meg. And then all that's going to do is when you do that, you're keeping all this extra storage in there or data, metadata that you don't need, your clients don't see, your customers don't need to see, and it's just going to slow you down. So I'm going to show you how to keep the quality, get rid of the junk, and upload everything up to your gallery. And then that brings me to the sixth point, which is uploading the images. So we're going to go ahead and going to get started. I'm going to start with like a little view of what Lightroom kind of is and how it was created. It's pretty new to the Adobe suite, as the past couple years, but it wasn't a part of the original Adobe suite. So, Lightroom basics. Basically, if you are already familiar with different Photoshop programs or Adobe programs, Lightroom is the culmination or like the baby of Adobe Bridge, which is like a massive like file organization and just kind of helpful like organizational library for you with Adobe, and then Photoshop. So Photoshop customizable things. A lot of you are using green screen and pixel, so you're very familiar with Photoshop. This kind of took Bridge and Photoshop and blended it into one, which is kind of nice because you can actually, the one thing that I've noticed which will slow me down in Photoshop is it's one image at a time unless you create actions to kind of speed up the process. But with Lightroom, you can do some pretty specific adjustments still and sync your images. So it will apply that adjustment to all of the images you selected, which is really nice. Also, a really cool feature about Lightroom is it's non-destructive. What I mean by non-destructive is that you don't need to click save. Whatever you do, it's going to save every single point you do. So you can go backwards later if you make a mistake or finish or anything like that. Also, if something happens and one of us in this room is familiar with this as of today, with gremlins like take over your computer for some reason and it shuts down, then you will be able to recover from where you picked up off of. So it's non-destructive. Everything you're doing, it's going to automatically save. Google is the same way. If you use Google Documents or Slides or anything like that, it's going to function pretty much the same way. You'll notice if you create a document on Google, there's no save button because it's saving all the time. Also, a great thing about Lightroom is that it's perfect for volume jobs. So if you're doing like different like print work where it's just like one or two images, then that's okay, but you might be better set for Photoshop. But for us that are in the volume world with portraits and sports and schools, where your camera is even set up on a tripod, so you're not even moving the camera angle and everyone's kind of sitting in the same spot, and the light set up because you have your exterior light set up. So the exposure is pretty much the same. Lightroom is going to be perfect for you because you can just sync all of your images with your adjustments, export them in the size that you need them to and the quality that you need them to, and then just have them go up to your gallery so you can get them ready for your customers to view them and purchase all the lovely stuff that they want to purchase. So if you have any questions about that, just go ahead and keep posting in the chat bubble to the chat bubble. I'm going to say bubble the whole time because I'm just familiar with that. That's my home base. All right. So the next part. All right. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, you got everything set up. You went to the shoot. It went well. You took pictures of lots of Timmys and Tinas. They were all pumped. Some weren't as excited, but that's okay. You got them to smile. Now you've come home. You've relaxed, decompressed. Batteries are on the charger. Get those ready for the next shoot, and you have your memory cards full of your images. What do you do now? So getting your images into Lightroom, this is the one thing that differs from Bridge. You have your images, and now you need to import them into Lightroom so you can adjust them. Lightroom will only work for images that are imported into what's called a Lightroom catalog. So I'm going to show that to you guys really quick. So this is Lightroom. I have let me go ahead and switch for you. Here's the Lightroom catalog. All right, so when you have your images and you're ready to import them into Lightroom, you want to create what's called a Lightroom catalog. Sometimes there's a default catalog for you, and you can upload all your jobs into that. But the weird thing about that is if you're taking like the whole season, let's say, and putting them into the same catalog, it's going to get really hard to maneuver through that. And also your Lightroom is going to open up all of those images at once, and it's really going to slow down your computer. So if you separate your jobs up into like different Lightroom catalogs, it's really going to help keep things as quick as possible. So when you're in Lightroom, all you would need to do is go ahead and click up at the top. It says you have your menu bar. You can't see it. You can only see my Lightroom. But up at the top, it says File. And then, let me see if I can show my screen instead of just this window. Aha. Okay, so you're going to go up to File, and you're going to go ahead and create a new catalog. So when you create a new catalog, you have your images either on your memory card, or you can already have them backed up onto your computer, however you want to start. The nice thing about Lightroom is there's usually like 3 ways to do everything, so you get to find the workflow that works best for you. So I have my images, I've already put them on my computer, and now I need to import them into the Lightroom catalog. But first, I need to create a Lightroom catalog for that. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my desktop, and then I have what the catalog that I'm going to be working with and the images that I'm going to be working with are from a portrait session that I shot on Sunday from the Jones family. So I'm going to have my folder already set up here for them. I have my raw images, but now I need to create a folder, a Lightroom catalog folder, so they can be viewable and editable and exportable in Lightroom. So you're going to create a new folder, and then you're going to save that folder. I typically, best practice for me is I create a Lightroom catalog that's the same name as the main folder that I'm using for the images. So for this Lightroom catalog, I would title it Jones Family 2019. And then so I would put that up there at the top. And then wherever you have it open is also where it's going to save. So because I have it already nested in Jones Family 2019, I know it says Jones, but it means Jones. I can change that later. I'm going to go ahead and right here, click and type in Jones Family 2019 and then save it. I've already kind of done this step ahead of time because it does take a little bit of time to do this. Sometimes with importing, you'll notice because you're taking these raw images and you're importing them into your catalog, it could take some time. So I wanted to save you the waiting, and I already kind of did it. So I actually have my folder already created in here with my Lightroom catalog. So you can always reference this catalog and you can save this catalog and you can take that catalog anywhere you want to go, and you'll be able to edit your pictures from Lightroom anywhere that you have access to Lightroom. So if you have, you can put this on your external hard drive or your jump drive, and then you want to go to a coffee shop and edit your pictures, you just need the catalog. You don't need all of the images, because when you connect your computer or your Lightroom back up to the hard drive that has the originals, it'll automatically sync for you, which is really kind and really nice of Lightroom to do. Because sometimes I feel like getting coffee and I don't feel like bringing a whole bunch of hard drives to the coffee shop. So you go ahead and create your Lightroom catalog, and then when you do that, it's going to open up. But let's say that this is going to be technically what it looks like when you create your Lightroom catalog. Up at the top, it's going to be your identifier of what catalog it is. And now what we need to do is we need to import our images into Lightroom. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on import. And everything's kind of broken up into sections. So you have, this is going to play out in your library and your develop module as well. But you have a left side, you have a center side with all the activity, and then you have a right side that's kind of like your action. So the left side's like, what's it coming from? What is it, and what do you want it to do? So on the left side, I want to go ahead and find my images from Jones Family. Like I said, they're already imported in here, and then they're going to upload right here. So you're going to see them, and then when you want, for these, you can go ahead and I'm going to pull it from somewhere else so you can kind of see it a little bit more. It's going to pull up your images. By default, it's going to select all of the images and check mark them. If you don't want to do that, if you only want to pull up a selected image or a series of images, let's say you forgot to format your card and you don't want the other shoot that's on there to come into this catalog, you just want the pictures from the soccer shoot you did this weekend. I don't know if we're playing soccer right now, but some hockey, let's say hockey, even though it doesn't snow here, from the hockey shoot, and then you want to just import those images, you go ahead and click on the first image that you want to select and import, and then you go ahead, I hold down Shift, and I click on the last image. Anything that's highlighted is going to be selected, and then I'm going to give it a check mark. That means check, I want to go ahead and import this into my catalog. So if you're pulling this straight from the card, you're going to want to copy your images over. If you already have your images backed up on your hard drive or on your desktop, you can just go ahead and add them. You don't need to copy them once again. So once you do that, it's going to tell you where is it going. This is going strictly into your catalog. You can change this if you want, but for editing purposes, you just need it to go into your catalog. And then when you're ready, you just click import. So like I said, I've already done this for you, but how are you guys doing? Does this feel good? So we're importing our images, which is good. This is the first step of many steps of your workflow. All right. And then once they start importing, You'll have a little timer up here that'll show you this, or the status bar that'll show you when they're all uploaded into your gallery or into your Lightroom catalog. So then you can see them here. Once they're all done, the status bar goes away. And again, you have a very similar frame that you had in the importing window. Left is kind of going to show, this is your navigational bar on the left. So this is where in the library module, you have two modules that we're going to be working through. We're going to have a library and a develop module. Library is the Adobe Bridge part of Lightroom. This is your sorting. This is your workflow. This is your culling. This is all that kind of stuff. This is where you get to do that. And then develop is where we edit. So that. All right. So once we have the images uploaded, I want to go over really quick. I'm going to ask a question and I want to see if you guys can answer the question. How many times should you or do you back up your images? Do you back up just once? Do you back up twice? Do you have like servers all over the world that you use? Do you have like a fireproof box that you keep backups in? How many times do you back up your images, your digital images? Let me see if anyone answers. How many times you should. No one's answering so far, but I'm going to give you the answer 3 times. Ooh, Marcus, yes. 3, 2, 1 strategy. Yes, Marcus. Yes. Gary, twice. Good. Bonnie, 2 or 3. Yep. 3 backups, 2 local, 1 offset. Marcus, you are backed up. That is awesome. You are so safe. Times 2, Bob, good. All right, so I'm going to tell you, there's like a quick saying that I use that I was taught in my digital media classes back in college. But if you only have one image or one image of something, you can consider that 0. That's not safe in the digital world. One of anything is considered 0. Because anything can happen and then that image is gone forever. So if you have 1, you have none. If you have 2, you have 1, because if anything were to happen, you at least have 1 backup. And then if you have 3, you're okay. So ideally, you want to have your images backed up at least 3 times. So for me, I have an off-site source that I back up my images to. I also keep 2 hard drives of my images. I keep like a master backup. And then I also have one running all the time on my computer that's backing up all of my images that I'm currently working on. So I'm okay. It's not ideal. I used to have a Google Drive. I used to back everything up to that. There's a lot of different resources where you can back up your images to the cloud. I really particularly liked Google, even though I had to pay for it, because Google just stretched into all of these other servers everywhere. So once it hit them, it was like backed up into all of their servers everywhere. So it was never really gone. So that's always a good rule of thumb. You want to make sure that you have your images backed up at least twice, if not 3 times. It's up to you how long you want to keep them for. I'm a hoarder of images. I've kept every image that I've shot for my clients for the past 10 years, and I will hold on to them as long as possible. But it's a good rule of thumb. Like, some people recycle after a few months, some people recycle after the year, but however you want to do it, that's your workflow. For me, I just want to hold on to those images forever. But I probably will change that because I have about 15 hard drives in my office. So, all right. So once your images are backed up and imported into Lightroom, the culling can begin. So culling is basically taking anything, a large sum of anything, and narrowing it down to just a few. So for this portrait shoot that I did, I imported 78 images. I'm not going to return 78 images to the client, so I need to go ahead and cull these images down. This is where you get to go ahead and go through and just like get rid of all like the weird faces and this, the blurry pictures or the slate pictures or something like that. Anything you don't really need, you're going to go ahead and cull those images. So I'm going to select the first image and I'm going to go ahead and upload it. Also, this is going to run for culling. Your library module is going to run better than develop. It's not going to buffer as long. Another great feature that Lightroom has is something called smart previews, and those are going to be your fastest way, because sometimes when you go in between the images, you'll notice like a little blur and then it snaps into sharpness. That's because it's buffering, and if you want to minimize that as much as possible, one, have a super fast computer, but again, Adobe's there for you. They have what's called smart previews, and then you can utilize that as well to make it faster. Okay, so I press spacebar to go ahead. That's a keyboard shortcut. Also, if you wanted to, you can go up here and you can view, you can like zoom in and view. There's different ways to go ahead and do everything in Lightroom. So again, whatever workflow is best for you, there's usually about 3 different ways to do the same exact thing in Lightroom. So for me, I love keyboard shortcuts, so I'm going to use those as much as possible. Those are ideal for my workflow, so that's why I'm going to use spacebar to go ahead and make it a full screen so I can go ahead and start calling. There are 3 ways in Lightroom that you can call your information. And there's also a 4th one that's kind of calling, but it's more organization based. So we're going to go over that as well. But let me go back to my slideshow. So, because I kind of went further, I went away a little bit from my slideshow. I'm going to talk about calling. And then this is what I was talking about. For organizing your images in the library module, there are going to be different ways to do that. The first one that we're going to talk about is flagging. This is the one that I prefer the most. I just simply want to flag an image. Yes, I want to edit it. Unflagged means I haven't decided what I want to do with it yet. And then there's rejected. That image is bad. I'm not going to process that image. I'm not going to give that to the client, so I'm going to reject it. It's bad. So those are the 3 different ways that you can use flags to organize and to call your photos. Another one is color. Lightroom has different color options for you that relate to different things or different steps of your editing process. Those keyboard shortcuts are, I believe, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I can show you really quick in Lightroom. So you can go up here and you can see all the different ways to organize and call your images. So for me, like I said, I'm going to use flags. And it's going to show you the shortcuts right next to it. Flag, unflag, reject. If I want to do a color label, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6 means I'm going to go ahead and select it. 7 means I'm going to second it, approve it, and review it. And then there's a to-do as well. These are all going to be different colors So if you work better visually with different colors, like green means go ahead and edit this, or red means leave it alone, and go ahead and use the color labels. Those are going to be great for calling. Also, you have ratings. So star ratings, similar to Adobe Bridge. You get to use the star system for that, or the star rating system for your calling and organization. 5 is going to mean whatever you want it to mean. 5 means it's done. 5 means yes, it's ready to go, or 5 means it's ready to go to Photoshop and be finalized. It's whatever you want it to mean. But the nice thing about all of these different calling and filing systems that you have within Lightroom, it's going to help you with your workflow. So if I only want to view my images that are 1 star, or the images that are red, which means or reject, or green, go ahead and go, or the ones that are flagged to edit, I'm going to go ahead and be able to sort my library module for the images and edit only the images that are flagged, only the images that are green to go, only the images that have 4 or 5 stars and they're ready to be edited, which is really nice. So you're not having to scroll through all of the images in order to edit. All right, so I have one image pulled up. Like I said, I'm going to use the flag system. So I'm going to quickly show you how to do that. I like this image, but I don't like it enough to send it to the clients. I'm going to reject it. I'm going to press X, and I'm going to reject it. You're going to see in the film strip what it does to your image. Let's say, I like this one. I'm going to go ahead and flag it as a flag, as a pic. So I'm going to press P, and it's going to flag as a pic. These are images I'm going to want to go ahead and edit to give to the clients. This is another one I want to reject. And also, I did pull these images from the shoot that I did, but don't worry, I also included images just like we're all familiar with. Images, Tina didn't want to participate. This is actually Eleanor. She did not want to participate in the beginning of the shoot, but I'm still capturing those images. And I go ahead and I decide maybe I want to include them later so they can remember, like, it was funny at the time that Eleanor wouldn't really participate. So those are the times that I want to include that. So I'd flag it as a pic, or I would reject it. But you just always, one of the great pieces of advice I ever got is digital, shoot them like they're free, because they are. You're paying for the memory card, and then that's it. It's not like the film days. It's not costing you anything to take these extra pictures, so shoot through it because you can always call later and call them down to a manageable size for editing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to flag a couple more. There she is. She's smiling in that one. She's really happy there. Got her brother Lincoln looking. Also, sometimes I treat unflagged as a reject at the same time too. That's really up to you. But those are sometimes I kind of leave them unflagged if I'm still deciding. If there's maybe 3 that are the same, and I kind of need to go through them a little bit more closely, I might leave them all unflagged so I can flag and reject them later. I usually do 2 passes. So through my calling. So I'm going to go through and do that one. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. That's not the one. No. All right. This is like another kind of source of FaceTime that we don't want to use. All right, so far, does anyone have any questions about this first part of your workflow? Calling your images down and being able to get them to a more manageable editing number. I'm going to go back to I'm going to go ahead and when we upload this webinar to YouTube for you guys to watch it during the replay, I'm going to include the link for this. This is kind of hard to see, and I don't expect you to look at it really quick and memorize it. But there are a number of shortcuts that you can use that are going to be beneficial for you and your workflow, however you work. Some of us, like Haley, get to use a loop deck, which is really awesome. You don't need to use a keyboard because you have just a different piece of equipment that will have all the customizations for you. So if you want to turn up the exposure, it's actually a little dial instead of sliding your mouse right and left. But I'm going to go ahead and include this so you can kind of get a cheat sheet. And good news, Bonnie, not only is it for Mac shortcuts, but it's for PC shortcuts too. So I was thinking of you. All right, so the next step is going to be for keywords. So this is the other part that I wanted to talk about that's really important, especially if you're uploading them to us with PhotoDay. Keywords are going to be really beneficial, not only for your own personal organization, but when it is going to utilize one of the 3 search features that we have for you guys available in your PhotoDay galleries. So again, that's back in the library module. So you have all of your images, and then let's say that you want to but maybe you can use people if you want. It takes a little bit of time, but this can be really beneficial if you're doing, let's say, like school photos or something like that, and you need to populate, for your keywords. You want to go ahead and select the images of the same person, and you're going to go ahead and add a keyword to it. You can go ahead and do that as well. I think it takes a little bit too much time, so I don't like using the people feature. I just like sticking in the library module. Let me go ahead and get out of this people. All right, so I have all my images here, and I want to go ahead and only view the images that I flagged, because those are the only images that I want to edit, and those are the only images I want to tag. So you have flag, you have unflagged, and you have reject. I'm going to view the flagged images. So right here, I have all my flagged images, and let's say I want to go ahead and start with giving them keywords. So over on the right hand side, you have keywords right here. These are the things that are going to translate to folders in Lightroom when you go ahead and upload them, which is going to save you a ton of time when you go to organize your pictures for customers to view them. So if they feel weird about using FaceFind, or FaceFind is just like one of the options, maybe they want another option for sorting, maybe they have more kids or something like that, or more than one kid. So keywords are going to be great because you can sort them by whatever your heart desires. You can use keywords to differentiate photos between teams, kids' colored hair, who's in the photo, are they teachers or are they just students? You can use keywords to say whether they're vertical or horizontal, because horizontal pictures are usually going to be teams and vertical pictures are usually going to be individuals. So you can do teams and individuals, and that's how you can sort your tags in your PhotoDay gallery for your customers to view them. It's real, sky's the limit. Honestly, you can create a keyword for any sort of description or qualifier or identifier you want for your images, and it's going to stick in the metadata. So when you upload it, it's going to retain that and create a separate folder for each one of those keywords in the PhotoDay gallery. So like, let's say I want to go ahead and I'm going to select these 3 images, and I want to go ahead and make these give the keyword to family for these 3 images. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I type in family, I click enter over on the right, and then those have been tagged with family. This is going to be like, let's say, one side of the family. This is Emily's side of the family. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put Emily underscore family. So now those have been assigned for that as well. And then go ahead, and this is just of, let's say, grandparents. So I'm going to go ahead and select this one. Grandparents. And then this also, there's pictures of the kiddos in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that as well as an additional one. Lightroom will automatically put commas in between all of the tags that you add, or the keywords that you add. So you don't have to worry about that. Everything will be separated by a comma, and that's what's going to separate them into separate folders as well. That is also why you can't use commas in your keywords and have them upload to PhotoDay. It just won't work. There's certain characters that we don't accept, and that's kind of one of them, and that's the reason why. So this one will have grandkids, so I'm going to go ahead with that. So it's not just grandparents, it's going to be grandkids. And press enter and see how the comma is already inserted. All right, so just for really quick, I'm going to go ahead and we've conquered culling. If anyone has any questions on that, again, it's whatever is best for your workflow. Flags just happen to work best for me because it's just 3 buttons, and that's simple and it's quick, and that's the way I choose to do that. Let's see, if you use an alternative to Lightroom that uses keywords, will they be used? If it's in the metadata, yes. So if you use, let's say, Bridge for your keywords or something like that, it absolutely is. Those keywords are tying into your metadata, so you can translate those. It's the XF data that information is in, so that's what we're pulling from. So as long as those keywords are saving in that type of within that metadata, then you'll be fine. But if it's like a weird tagging for a certain type of program that you're using, it may not. So my suggestion would be to go ahead and do like a test run with one image that you tagged, upload it to a demo gallery. We all need to have demo galleries in our PhotoDay dashboard to go ahead and test. And if it does work, huzzah! The program will support your software's tagging system, or keyword system, which is great. So that was a great question, Gary. Good job. And all right, so now I've called my images down. I have all my flagged images. These are the ones that I want to send to the family. But first I need to edit them. So I'm not going to go too deep into editing. Everyone is a unicorn with their editing. They're special, and it takes a long time to develop your own kind of workflow and style, your portrait style and your editing style. So I don't have the the magic answer for that, it's follow your heart. That's going to be the magic answer for that. For editing, whatever you think is best. And it will evolve over time. It's not going to stay consistent. It will be gradual and then changes from shoot to shoot. But that's just how it is. We're always growing and changing. So why would our editing style not change as well? All right, so I have presets. Those are the ones that I use a lot. Over on the left side are where all my presets are stored in. We're now in the develop module. So we've left organizing our images and calling our images, which is primarily done in the library side, and now we're in develop. We're going to go ahead and quickly develop. I'm going to go down to my presets. I label my presets after every shoot I do if I end up changing them slightly depending on the time of day or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and select a preset that works best. So I go ahead and I like that one. I'm going to go ahead and make some minor adjustments to it. This is where you have control over all of your minor adjustments, sharpening and vignetting and your tonal curve and all that fun stuff, which is a whole series of webinars in its own right. But I go ahead and I get my color temperature, my white balance set to where I want it. I'm going to go ahead and bump up my exposure, maybe warm it up a little bit more. These are like winter pictures. All right, so I got it to a point that I'm happy with, and I want to apply this preset to all of my images. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select all of the images, and I'm going to press sync, which is the best feature of Lightroom in my opinion. And everything that's checked off is going to apply to the other images that you've highlighted. I want to do everything except for crop, spot removal, because that's really frame by frame kind of a customization, and then any local adjustments, I just leave that off. That's like if you wanted to add gradient or something like that, you would have that in there. So sometimes it's useful, but for this circumstance, it's not. I'm going to click synchronize. I get my status bar up here. It's already done. Every image has been color corrected and edited to the style that I want for this shoot. So they've all been edited in the exact same way. All right, so now we have our images edited, we have our images tagged with keywords, and we are ready to export. I'm going to go back to my library module, all of my images. You want to select all of the images that you want to delete, anything or to export, not delete, we're not deleting. Any of the images you want to export are going to be highlighted. If you only have one image white, one image will export. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do Command A, because yes, I'm on a Mac. And I'm going to go ahead and you have, again, 3 different options. Export, you can right click and you can go down to export, or you can go up to the top to your photo and there's another spot where export's hiding. In file, and you can click export. Again, 3 different ways for Lightroom. But I'm ready. I have everything tagged the way I would like it to be tagged. I'm going to go ahead and create one big tag before I finish, just like all photos. So if I wanted to turn that feature off, I don't have to have that included, but there's not that many pictures. If I want them to see all the photos, I'm going to select all. So now all these images have that keyword attached to them. So select all the images, and I'm ready to export. So I'm going to go ahead and click export. This is the important part for us. Up at the top, it's going to show you how many images are exported. Again, holding you accountable if you accidentally only clicked one or something like that. You get to see right there to check. This is going to tell you, all of these boxes in this module are going to tell you what, are going to give you the option to tell you what you want to do with your images when you export them. Where do you want your images to go is the first one. Do you want it to go to a specific folder, or do you want it to default? When I was editing images, the last one that I used was this one, this location. So it's going to default to that, again, non-destructive. So it's always going to save the last thing that I used. But if I want it to go to a different spot, I would click on the specific folder. I would pick my desktop, and it could go to desktop. If I wanted it to go to a specific folder, I can choose my folder. And let's see, we are in Johnson. All right, and then I can go ahead and I can choose to create a new folder here, or I can just click choose, and Lightroom gives me the option to put it into a subfolder. This is really important if you don't use keywords in your workflow and you need to nest a bunch of images into your main folder. I just kind of think about like Russian nesting dolls, how everything's collapsed into one or one big one. This is kind of the same thing. Subfolders are the same thing. So subfolders are going to translate in your gallery to tags as well, just like keywords. So you can do either or. I'm going to put all of the images, because I use keywords, into a specific folder, and I'm going to call that Jones complete. So I know these are the finals. If you wanted to rename your files, you can absolutely do that. Sometimes you have like a really long file name. You don't need it to be this long for your customers to view or for PhotoDay to see when they upload. So you can narrow it down a little bit, and you can rename it to anything, and it'll show you the example of what is put there when you do that. All right, so we've covered that one. We've covered this one. Video, we're not doing video. File settings. This is similar to kind of like your quality, but this isn't really customizable enough. So you can change your quality of your image from 100 down to like 70, but what it's doing is it's kind of messing with everything to get your quality down a little bit. So it's not only messing with your resolution, but it's also going to mess with your image size, and also it's not going to adjust for your metadata at all. So it's going to also like kind of truncate that, but it's going to retain it. So you're using valuable that no one's going to see. So I don't really like to use the file setting quality side at all, because it's not customizable for what I need it to do. I do want them to be exported as JPEG. I will always have that selected. And I do use sRGB, which is what all of our labs use for color correcting as well. So I want to make sure the edits that I made are what are going to be translated to print. So it's sRGB. Image sizing is a good spot to stop. This is where we talk about file dimensions and then also the resolution. So what I like to do is I like to keep my images at 300 for their pixel PPI. So that's going to be the quality. That's going to be the sharpness of my image. You can just set like your long edge to be like, let's say you only want to print a 4x6, or you only want your customers to print up to a 4x6, so it's going to be 6,000 for your long edge, and you can do that. But it's always a good rule of thumb, if you don't want to think about math a lot, which I don't want to think about that. I want to give them the best quality for all the different sizes. So I'm going to use 300. 72 is also really good too. So you can use 72, 150, or 300 are good like benchmarks for your resolution for your images. So you can go ahead and have that set to that. Also, this is another thing. Once these are set, it's going to remember it. So if you do it once the right way, you won't have to do it again. You can just kind of hang out an export location. You won't need to worry about all these other things in the future. You can do output sharpening. Sometimes this is nice. It can be a little tricky. So you don't want to sharpen it too much so it starts to look artificial. Sometimes if I want to do a specific style, I'll sharpen for matte paper, but I'll always do low. So you can kind of coordinate this with the lab that you use and what kind of paper they use. So you can kind of make your little adjustments from there. But I have nothing selected, so nothing will be changed. Your metadata. So a lot of people want to just go ahead and they want to only include the copyright. If you do that, your keywords won't be saved to your images, and they won't work when you go to upload them. So we want to go ahead and you can do all metadata, but that might create an image that's too big for PhotoDay galleries. So I like to do all except camera and camera raw info. So that's like the basic stuff that's like tells me like when it was taken, the time it was taken, stuff that your customers are not going to see, but I already have retained on my original images, so I don't need to export that information again. So I'm going to do that. So it's going to keep my keywords, but it's going to exclude all the other metadata that I don't need. If you wanted to add an additional watermark, if that's something that you like to do, we're all pretty split on that. Either people love it or don't. Great news is that PhotoDay already includes a watermark on all of your images on the gallery. We take it off once the images are printed for your customers, but we include it so on the gallery so they can always, it's laid over on top temporarily of your images. All right, and then post-processing. If you are someone that likes to utilize Photoshop and you do composite work, you can go ahead and set up Lightroom to not only export your images to the correct location, but you can have them automatically open for you in Photoshop once it's done exporting. For today, I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to select do nothing, and everything is set up correctly in the way that I want to, so I'm going to click. All right. While it's exporting, which it shouldn't take too long, converting RAW to JPEG, I'm going to go ahead and show you the PhotoDay side. We've been hanging out in Lightroom too long. All right, I'm going to kind of leave this open so I can see what we got going on over here. So I'll get started. All right, so this is my dashboard for PhotoDay. Right here. All right, so I've already gone ahead and I've created my job that I wanted for this family. I've created my access code. I have my job name, the date of the shoot, the organization. I've already classified it. These are portraits. Everything is set up. So I got the green light on setup, gallery, access. Next, I need to set up my storefront. That is right on. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to do advanced pay. They already paid me ahead of time for the shoot, but I do. I don't need to utilize that, but it's a great feature. If you want to know more about advanced pay, we have lots of webinars on it. Please watch those webinars to get familiar with advanced pay, because it is a nice way to kind of get a little skin in the game with your organizations. My storefront, this is where all your price sheets live. I'm going to go ahead and add my, I'm going to go with my Reedy price sheet. So I like Reedy's, they're a great lab, just like all of our labs. So, and they're close by. So I'm going to go ahead and select that as a lab. My price sheet for Reedy doesn't actually have any themable products in it for the situation. It doesn't really qualify. I don't want them having like a basketball theme for these portraits, or even universal, but I have to select one, even though none of my items have a theme on them. So I'm going to go ahead and just click universal, but it won't be reflected on my price sheet. If I had advanced pay, I can make the choice here to preview my storefront for so customers, when they log in, they can not only purchase advanced pay, but they can see like all your packages and your a la carte items. But I don't need to do that. I'm just going to click save. All right, so now I'm ready to upload. Let's check on, yep, my status bar is clear. That means that my images have uploaded. Are not uploaded. They have exported correctly. So now I am ready actually to upload. Okay. All right, click on upload. Again, we give you options. You can drag and drop, which is a great feature. Just because I'm full screen, I'm not going to drag and drop. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to upload my folder. I'm just going to open up my desktop folder. And then I'm going to go back to my Jones family. I exported my images into Jones Family Complete, or Jones Complete. Jones 2019 is my Lightroom catalog, remember? So I'm going to go ahead and click that folder. You can see the images right here. They're just all nested under this one main folder because I didn't have subfolders, I had keywords instead. So I'm going to click upload. Yes, I would. I trust PhotoDay, giving me the images. And we're going to let that. So upload. Over on the left, it's going to tell me that there are keywords here. Do I want to use these keywords, or do I want to ignore them? If I was using subfolders, I'd want to ignore those keywords because I was just using keywords to organize for myself, not necessarily as a organization for your search feature for your customers. So then I would click ignore. But I did for my customers use keywords. So I'm going to go ahead and say use keywords. And now I'm going to look at the images upload. Little status bar showing me what's been uploaded, how many. We are already at 4, 5. We are blessed here to have very fast internet, which is thankful. I'm very thankful for that. All right, so I have this is on the last image. Also, I wanted to go ahead and let you guys know while this is finalizing that for this job, I'm going to publish it. I'm going to make it live. If you want to like view like the different categories from the keywords I selected, I'm going to make this gallery live for you, so you can like opt in and view it and like kind of get familiar a little bit with maybe even like a customer facing interface for what PhotoDay looks like, and get a little bit more familiar with it and just see it on the other end. So you're not just seeing all of the back end kind of stuff, if you would like. And I will share that with you. Under settings and gallery access. The nice thing is one, while my images are uploading, I don't have to wait there on that page. It's all ready for me to go to do other things. I don't have to sit there and watch it. I've created a group gallery, and this is the opt-in code. So if you text Jones 2019 to 90738, once the gallery is published, right now it's in draft, you will be able to view the pictures, which is really great. All right. I'm going to go back to the slides really quick. Make sure if anyone has any questions so far, let me know. We already edited, we exported. All right, so this is what I want to cover really quick. These are our requirements when you're exporting from Lightroom to PhotoDay. These are the things that we need in order to create a successful gallery upload experience. You need to make sure that your images are in JPEG. We don't accept RAW format, and they can't be bigger than 15 megabytes. If they're bigger than that, it'll give you an error, and it won't actually upload. Long gone are the days of zipping your files to upload to us. You just get to drag and drop, which is really convenient. There is a character limit of 31 characters for your file names, again, so that's where that file renaming tool on your export modal will come in handy. So if you need to shorten your file names for your gallery purposes, you can go ahead and do that. So it meets the requirement of 31 characters. When you upload, you cannot include all of these weird symbols. I don't know the names to all of them. I know backslash, forward slash, quotation mark, colon, question mark, line, asterisk, all of those. We don't accept those. So don't put them. It may still accept them, but it may not. So just err on the side of caution and just don't include them. Or we're just going to go ahead and get rid of them if they're in there, so it may not make sense when you go to view the images. Also, we have the tags and then the keywords, which we're already talking about right now. So if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know about that. Any more like specific questions about like when you're uploading to the gallery and the requirements with PhotoDay. So we're going to check on that upload. My photos. Ta-da! Here are my images. Everything is tagged. I have all 7 images in the one tag. Emily family. Those are those 3. But just to make sure, I'm going to click on it. Yep, looks good. Family images. Yep, looks good. Want to see pictures of the grandkids? Just the grandkids? Perfect. Right there. Yeah, I made a mistake. I'm just refreshing. All right, so all of my images are there. Everything looks good. My search features, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that's set up correctly. Really quick. All photos is on, face bind's on, tags are on. So I'm good to go. I'm ready to publish my job. Now, if I wanted to go ahead and preview it, I can go here, enter in my code, accept, and continue with the terms. Now I have my 3 search options. I just want to look at tags because this is how I created my keywords. And here they are. I have Jones Complete because that was the main folder. If I don't want to include that, I just go back into my photos, into my tag, and I get rid of this one. So I want to delete this one. So that was my main folder, and that's what I use keywords instead, so I can go ahead and delete that. Didn't delete any of the images, it just deleted that tag. So now I can go ahead and refresh. Do it live, look at all these tags. It's fun. Go ahead back to all, and here are all the images. Pull them up, and I can view them. Aw, they look so cute. All right, so that's kind of it. We hit an hour, which went by really fast. I'm so sorry if I talk really fast. I am really passionate about Lightroom, and there's just so much information in there that I want you guys to have like a successful workflow because all we want to do is give time back to you guys. So this is more of like a photo day and for giving you some time back, especially with your file organizations. You guys are using like thousands of images, and we want to make sure that they make sense in a workflow that's best for you. So now that you've seen the demo gallery, you've seen the process of uploading the images to Lightroom, I'm going to go ahead and open it up. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me questions. I'm here to answer them. Lisa's here to answer them. Weston's here to answer them. I'm here for you. So go ahead and let me know if you guys have any questions. Looks like everyone's asleep. No one's responding. So quiet today in webinar world. I am so glad to see though that you guys are backing your images up. It makes me feel really good. It's so important. I've just heard so many horror stories. I heard one horror story where it had a good outcome, I guess, at the very end for the images, but it was a kind of a tragic story where like this house caught on fire, their laptop literally melted, but they were able to recover the images, thankfully off of the hard drive. They were on there still, but they were the originals. Had that fire ruined their computer completely, those images from a wedding would have been completely gone. So that's why things like that happen. You hope it never happens. You hope on wood that it never happens, but sometimes it does. So it's always best to have those images backed up as much as you can. All right, so it doesn't look like anyone has any questions. So if you do have any questions, feel free to come find me in the bubble. I will be more than happy to answer any of your questions about PhotoDay, about Lightroom, just how you're feeling, how you're doing. We can just chit chat if you want. But that kind of completes the webinar today for file organization. So I hope you guys had fun. I hope you learned a lot. And feel free to watch the replay and start and stop as much as you need to. Again, I know it's really content heavy, but we're here to answer any questions that you have and to help you through so you fully understand it and feel confident with your workflow on the back end. All right, so until next time, guys, or in the support bubble, I'll see you then. Bye, guys.